you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking, and I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up, and we just sing along. And I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Ann. This is Postcards from My Golden Years. I'm so happy to see you. So today I thought that what we would do is share some information on how we took care of the most important things we needed to do, I guess you'd say administratively, once we got here to France and were able to take a breath and say, okay. So the first one I'm going to share with you is how to validate your long stay visa. So now the procedure is probably going to be the same for everybody. The only difference may be the fee. I think students may pay a €50 fee. Jeff and I paid $200 each. So this is part of what it costs to have a long stay visa, and I'll go through it step by step. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get on with it. First thing, let's talk about how to validate your long stay visa once you get to France. So when you receive your visa, clipped to one of the pages of your passport, across from the actual visa that is glued, I guess, to the page in your visa, you're going to find this little piece of paper. This little piece of paper you need to hang on to like for dear life. Leave it clipped in your passports. So that little code right there, that will bring you to your file. And you do this by cell phone. It's very easy. I just pulled that little paper off, scanned it with my QR code. It brought me to the website where I have to validate my visa. Okay, if you are lucky enough to have Wi-Fi on your laptop, when you first arrive in France, you don't have to validate your visa on your cell phone like we did. Unfortunately, it took us a few weeks to get some Wi-Fi. So we did it on our cell phones, but you can go directly to the website. And here is the web address. Now, when you first get to this web page, it's going to all be in French. So the first thing you're going to do is come up here and switch it to English so you understand everything. Easy to read now, right? Okay, so the first thing you're going to click on is this box that says validate your VLS-TS long stay visa. That's what you want. And there you see the little box that says visa number. This is the number that is on your visa. You're going to insert that number right there. And then you'll click on confirm your visa number and it will pull up another screen. And I'm not going to put my visa number in here because I've already done all of this and I don't want to mess with what I've already done. So in the next screens, I will show you, or I'll tell you rather, what other information they're going to be asking for once you click on confirm your visa number. So let's go.
And so it was easy to validate our long stay visa. At the time, all we could do was use our cell phones. And with our cell phones, we logged in, we filled out the information, and boom, there we were, validated. Long stay visa people living in France. Imagine us. Oh my gosh.
I don't think we expected it to be as easy as it was. So you just have to make sure that you've got a credit card handy to pay the tax. And if you don't, go to a tobacco store. Typically they're called tabac. And you can buy what's called a timbre, which is the stamp for the fee, for the tax. So, okay, next thing we're going to talk about is how to move your Social Security monthly benefit from the US to France. And when I say this, what I mean is, for example, right now we're getting our US Social Security money and it's directly deposited into a US bank account that we still have. What we have made application to do is to have that money go directly to the American Embassy in Paris, that's where it's located here in France, and then they issue our monthly Social Security benefit. Actually, it's the US Treasury Department issues our Social Security monthly benefit, but they will issue it to us and directly deposit it into our new French bank account. And they will directly deposit it as euros. And there is an advantage to this, if not the fact that you don't have to deal with the American bank anymore. And, transfer your money from the American bank to something over here, whether it's a bank account or your Wise card or Revolut or whatever it is you're using. You're saving the fees, because what happens to us when we have the money in our US bank account, we move it over to our Wise card. So there is a fee to move it from the US bank to our Wise card. Then once it's in our Wise card, it's in dollars, and we need to then convert it to euros. So there's another fee. If you have the US Treasury Department automatically directly deposit your Social Security benefit into your French bank account, they will deposit it as euros. And from all reports, everything I've read, you get the best possible exchange rate, because it's really the US Treasury Department making the conversion before it even goes to you. So there are no hidden fees. Typically, banks here in France will not charge you to have your monthly Social Security benefit dropped into your bank account. And if they do, you want to go back to them and make sure they know that this is your pension, your Social Security. In most cases that I have heard, there is no cost to do this. It's not like wiring money to you. It's just an automatic deposit into your bank account. So that's the greatest advantage. You're going to get more money than you would get if you had it deposited into your US bank account and then start moving the money on your own and paying all the fees to do all of that process. You don't want to do that. Save yourself some money. But keep in mind, I am not a tax expert. I'm not an expert on finances or Social Security. Maybe there's some advantage to you keeping your money in the US and having the benefit drop into your US bank account. Contact your financial consultant, contact a tax consultant, contact any expert on things like that. I'm not the expert. I'm just telling you that when Jeff and I had to make the decision, we didn't consult anybody. We consulted each other, and we decided, yes, this is what we wanted to do. So let me show you how it's done. So how do you do that? The first thing you do is you go to this website right here. And then you are going to scroll down. You're going to be looking for an SSA 1199, and that is the direct deposit sign-up form for France. So you will click on that, and then there's your form. Now you can download the form if you don't want to do anything with it right away, or for us, we just simply printed out the forms because we are ready to do this. Now, take a look at the form. Most of this is going to be pretty easy. It appears that if you have a joint bank account with someone that you're going to be depositing the money into, that person has to sign off, allowing you to have your Social Security dropped into this bank account. And so when you do this form, you're going to be stating this is a joint account. If it's your own account, just click on My Own Account. And here, and right here, this is where your bank here in France, they're going to need to complete their information right there. And note right here, it's going to require the signature of a bank official. So coincidentally, we were moving from one French bank account to another French bank account, and we had just changed our bank account. So we had been dealing with BNP Paribas, and one of the things that we didn't like with BNP Paribas was that they wanted us to keep 10,000 euros in a savings account in order for us to get a debit card with them. So it was really disappointing. I mean, it took us months to open that account. We opened it. For the most part, we did all of the paperwork and all of the majority of everything while we were still in the U.S. And then when we got here, we had to meet with the bank before they finally approved the account. And that's when they told us that we were going to need to keep 10,000 euros in a savings account and not touch it forever in order for us to get a debit card. And the reason being, with their debit card, you could take their debit card to any ATM machine, withdraw money, and even if there is no money in your account, the ATM machine will spit out money. It does make sense to me, but they wanted you to keep the 10,000 euros in your account so that if you had an overdraft as a result of taking more money or spending more money than you had, they could pull it from that 10,000. Well, we didn't like that. So we decided to move to Crédit Agricole. Crédit Agricole does not have that requirement. Yes, you have to pay for a debit card, but it's minimal in the scheme of things. I mean, we already knew when we moved to France from the U.S. that debit cards were going to cost us, and there was a monthly charge for the bank account. It is what it is. That's simply life here. So anyway, when we went to Crédit Agricole to finalize opening our account, we brought this form with us. And just as I showed you on the form, there's that whole bottom section. We had the bank person that we were working with, we had her complete the bottom of the form, and she even gave us an envelope to mail it. So that part was taken care of, and now we're off to the post office. Well, it sounds like a silly thing to show you, but this is our very first visit to a post office here in Nice. So we are going in to buy a stamp to mail a letter. Fortunately, the letter is being mailed to Paris, so it's not leaving the country. That's a beautiful building, isn't it?
I'm gonna walk across the street. Here I go.
after you complete your form, this is the address you're going to put on the envelope. It doesn't have to be an envelope that big, but that's what we got. And then you mail it to the U.S. Embassy. Okay, next, we all know how important this next general election is back in the United States. Who's going to be the next president? You want your vote to count, don't you? Even if you're not in the United States, you're still an American citizen, you still get a right to vote. Don't forget about that. So, we decided we're going to get absentee ballots. So we had to make a request online. And for me, it was very easy. I just typed on Google, request an absentee ballot from outside the U.S. And there were a few websites that popped up. This particular one is the one that I chose. So let me show you how I did that. First thing you're going to do is go to this website. And then you're going to click on register to vote, request absentee ballot. Okay, and there you go. And then you're going to select overseas citizen voters, voter registration and absentee ballot. And there you complete all of the information. Pretty simple. Complete all of the information. And then after you click submit, you'll get a message like this that says it's on its way to your election office.
So, the upcoming election is one of the most important elections in history. Your grandchildren are going to ask you, what did you do in the 2024 elections? Every person needs to vote. So make sure you fill out your form online and send it in. Do it early so that your Board of Elections will know where you are. And then when your mail-in ballot comes, make sure you fill it out and send it back as soon as possible. It's an important election this time around.
Okay, next, the last thing that I'm going to talk about is we're getting ready to exchange our U.S. driver's licenses, our Florida driver's license, for a France driver's license. Now we have up to a year to do it, and if we don't do it within the year, we lose the right to do that. And then in order to get a driver's license here in France, you have to spend a little money, you may have to take classes, and you have to take a driving test. And I believe there is a test, it's an online test, a written test. We didn't want to mess with that. Fortunately, we're coming from Florida, where there is a reciprocal agreement with France. As long as you make the exchange before the first year is up, no problem. So we aren't ready to actually send everything in. And I had already done a video on this months before. This is the video. Look for this video in my library of past videos where I go through step by step by step how to do this. In fact, I had to watch my own video just a week or so ago to get us started so I could remember the steps. So the first thing that we needed to do is request our driving records from the state of Florida. And it's very easy to do. I simply went online and typed in request driving history from Florida Motor Vehicles, and it brought up a link and you click on it. And I was able to get all of this in a matter of minutes online using a credit card. You can do this for pretty much any state in the country if you need it. Now, also, you need to make a copy of both sides of your driver's license. Good, clear, color copy of both sides of your driver's license. I played around with my printer a little bit and I managed to put a copy of the front and the back on one piece of paper. The next thing I had to do was find a translator. You need to have your documents translated by a certified France translator. So where did I look? I went on one of the forums on Facebook, and they were talking about, other people were talking about who they used. So I found this one website, sort of a government website of translators, and I sent a request to that website. Somebody responded to me with a price quote. They wanted $180 to translate both my husband's and my driver's license from English into French. And I thought, wow, that is really expensive. So I went back to the forum, saw what other people were doing, and one of them had posted a link for a translator, and I'm going to include that person's information down below this video. Look in the information under the video. I'm going to put the link to that person because that person charged me, it was less than 50% of that cost to translate both Jeff's and my American Florida driver's license. So that part was taken care of, and this person was so fast. I highly recommend her. She was so fast, she did it within a few days. So if you're looking for a good deal, please tell her that I sent you, okay? I don't get anything for it, but I'm sure she'll appreciate the additional business. Okay, so I got the driver's license translated. I still have to get our driving history translated. I haven't done that. I just realized I needed that translated. So I'll go back to her. You attach it to an email and you say, here's what I need. She'll give you a price quote. And then after the whole translation is done, she sends you a link to her bank account information so that you can send the money to her. Now, here in France, we use what's called an IBAN number, which is sort of a number that identifies you with the bank. And the bank has an RIB number. So these are things you need to wait until you're in France to do it. Because when the translator sent me her payment information, she sent me her IBAN number and her RIB number. And then I just went on my Wise card. And if you don't have a Wise card, it's really great to get a Wise card. But I went on my Wise card and then I added her as a vendor. And then I put in her bank information and then I sent her the money she asked for in euros. And it was in her hands, I think it was like 70 seconds. So it was that fast. So, but it's something you've got to wait to do until you get here in France, unless you find some other alternative means of getting a translation where you can just walk up and hand the money. For me, it was easy to just do it from home. So the next thing we needed to do was get photographs taken. This is easy. You just go to one of those photo machines that you see in the metro sometimes. Well, actually you see them in the metro in Paris. I don't think I've ever seen them in any of the tram stops here. Here in Nice, we've only seen these photo machines at the Monoprix, the grocery store. So wherever you are in France, look around. I will show you what the photo machine looks like. They pretty much all look alike. And I'll show you how Jeff went through the process. So let's watch. So you look for one of these machines at your nearest grocery store, the Photomation. then you come in here, and first thing you do is change the language to English. Okay, and you're going to pick this side because you're going to want a driver's license.
Oui.
Okay, over here, now to the driver's license side. And this side.
You have selected a new procedure for driving license. Click on OK. Continue. If you prefer.
And then you have to sit up straight, no smiling, look straight ahead. Okay. Jeff has googly eyes on that one. I would take another one. See, it gives you an opportunity to choose another photo. Okay. Next time when Jeff looks, he shouldn't have googly eyes. He should just look straight and relax. Okay. Okay. Much better. Oh, it says it might not be compliant with passport standards. Might have to take another one, Jeff. Do that same face, but maybe you were out of bounds. See, this says may not be compliant. Don't mess around here. Okay, keep your head in the circle. You have one try left. You're out of the circle. Come in. No, you're... Okay, now look straight ahead. Relax your eyes. You weren't all in that circle, so that one might not be good either. So, he likes the picture, clicks OK.
Please sign on the screen.
Okay, now this is important. You have to sign so that your signature is visible. Press hard. No. 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 Oh, almost. No. And then click OK. Okay. And then you pay for the photos. Okay, then you get a receipt. Watch on the side of the machine. Oh, and there's his card. All right. He's all set.
You need a picture to send in with your signature. And what you do is you do with your hand on a little touch screen. Now the first time I did it, I did my signature, but I didn't see anything. I thought, oh, the machine will just print it out. Wrong, wrong, wrong. I had to go back and do it a second time. Make sure you see the image on the touchpad in the photo booth, and then make sure it prints out, because it has to have a signature and your photo to send in.
So, speaking of driver's license, there's one other thing that I wanted to share with you because it was really, for me, it was drama that I didn't need. We are having our mail from our U.S. address forwarded to here, to our address here in France. And we did set up a physical address in the state of Florida because we didn't think that they would do business with us if we were living outside of the U.S. So the rest of our mail, anything that isn't, anything where we have not physically changed our address, the U.S. Post Office is forwarding to us here in Nice. So I received a letter from Florida Motor Vehicles, and it had been moving around. I guess it took us about 15 days before it reached me. So by the time it reached me, it was already a nightmare. So the letter said that my driver's license had been suspended. You know, that's how I felt. And it said it was suspended because we took the automobile insurance off of one of the cars that we had. We had a little Miata that actually, before we left, we sold it back to Carvana. We had purchased it from Carvana, and when we left, we sold it back to Carvana. And Carvana, I had all the paperwork. They didn't retitle it in the state of Florida. I don't know where they retitled it, but as a result, the state of Florida thought that we were driving around in Florida without insurance on our car, and according to the state of Florida, we still had a loan on that car. So they had given me, I think, 10 days or something from when the insurance was canceled to re-notify them of new insurance, and I didn't do it. So they suspended my driver's license. So I didn't know what to do. And I went online to motor vehicle, it gives you all this information in a letter, and it says the only option to get your license back is to pay $150 and show up at motor vehicles locally. And because your license had already been suspended, you have to go in person. And here I am in France, and I can't go in person. So the other problem is that I had kept my U.S. telephone number for a while because I had hoped that keeping my U.S. telephone number would allow banks and other entities to send me 4-digit security codes when I'm logging into things. And so far since I got here, I have not received one code when I needed it. So that entire situation keeping my old U.S. number failed. And anytime that I tried to make an outgoing call using the SIM card from my U.S. number, it would say I don't have any service here in France. So then I would go onto my France SIM card and make the phone call from here, and I didn't have coverage. I had unlimited text messages to the U.S., so I can text all I want to the U.S. and receive SMS codes, but I can't make a phone call to the U.S. without being charged like $1 zillion a minute. So anytime I have had to make a phone call to the U.S., immediately when I'm finished, I get a text message from my France telephone carrier saying I have a bill of €24 or 35 euros, and in order for me to continue using my France phone service, I need to pay it right away. So one time when I got this, none of the credit cards I had in my wallet worked. And so I physically had to leave home and run out to the free, we use Free Mobile, it's the name of the company. I had to run out to the Free Mobile store, which fortunately is only about a 7-minute walk away, but I had to run there and get on one of the machines in their location to pay that bill. So the last thing I wanted to do when I had this problem with my driver's license being suspended is like, oh my God, you feel so powerless. You can't do anything. I couldn't make calls to the U.S. without it costing a fortune. There was nothing I can do. They wanted me to go in person. So I took a deep breath. I went out for a little while that day, and the next morning I woke up with a new outlook on this, I went back to Florida Motor Vehicle website, and on there it said, click here if you're the insurance company and you think that this suspension was an error. So I clicked on that link, and it took me to another place where I could upload information saying the car had been sold, the date of the sale, a copy of the bill of sale, and I think that was it. Oh, and I had to do this attestation statement that they had there stating that I swear I sold the car, blah, blah, blah. So I did that and submitted it. And the next day I got a letter from someone at Motor Vehicles, faster than I ever expected. And she said, well, let's not worry about it yet. So she sent me this other form where I had to copy the information from the bill of sale. It was basically a Florida state bill of sale for the vehicle. The buyer did not have to sign the form. All I had to do was swear on that form that I sold the car and that it was sold before my license had been suspended, which I did. And she said, just email it back. And then, like the next day, 24 hours later, I got a letter back and she said I was able to fix it. You're fine. Your license is reinstated. It's not even going to show on your record that there was a problem. We apologize for the error. I'm so happy I could have helped you with this. So when you sell your car, this is the lesson learned. When you sell your car, take that license plate back to Motor Vehicles and return it so they know you don't own the car anymore. Jeff thought he was doing us both a favor, and he chopped up the plate and threw it in the garbage. He didn't realize that this is a possible end result of not notifying Motor Vehicles that we sold the car. So sharing that little tidbit with you so that you don't make that mistake when you sell your car. Just make sure, take the license plate to Motor Vehicles and you won't have that problem. So those are the first 4 things we think were the most important administrative type things. I mean, once you get the electric on and you get your cable, internet, and all of that set up, we're talking about important paperwork and things you need to take care of. So hopefully we've given you enough information so that you can get on the computer and take care of those things yourself and
get on to living the life in Nice.
Exactly. That's what we're here for, right?
Right, that's it.
So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week with another exciting video from somewhere, right?
From somewhere, yes.
Yeah, yet to be determined. Actually, no, I just realized next week,
Yes.
we are taking you to Ventimiglia.
Oh.
Ventimiglia is supposed to be the largest outdoor market in Italy. So Jeff and I took the train just a few days ago. We took the train to Ventimiglia, and well, you're not going to want to miss it, because if you come to Nice, it's going to be something you're going to want to do while you're here.
Exactly.
So thanks again for watching. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye for now.